Okay, to pick up where we left off from last week as far as Hobnob Bowling Green's golf tips were concerned, we're going to look at the transition into downswing today based on the way the club behaves in motion. And what we're trying to do in custom fitting and also in playing is to get the toe of the club and the heel of the club to match up at the same time when the ball hits the ground, hopefully after you've hit the ball. So if we can get the toe to not drag first or the heel to not drag first by having the proper lie angle, which would be a measurement in degrees from right on the surface of the ground to the underside of the shaft in degrees, we try to make sure that that bend is done properly by the manufacturers and sometimes by us here at Bowling Green Country Club with a bending machine. But we're trying to get the toe and the heel to match up at impact. And so when you take a look at these noodles that are arranged on a teaching aid that's designed to help the shaft of the club run its course, we talked from the face view the last time we visited about big circle, little circle. Then from this view, and that particular view from the face is all about when or timing, how things happen, and this is more about what is happening, about technique. And so we've got a range for the club to work in, and if it works too much this way or too much this way, you're not going to be able to get a clean hit or have the ball start in the right direction. And so we'd like for the ball to end up landing where we would plan for it to land, and we don't really want that ball to have to curve one way or the other a great deal. And so this is all about the shape of the downswing. So when I said last week, big circle, little circle, when I get into the pivot on the downswing by moving my body weight back to my front foot, then the shaft of the club is going to move on the line, nearly on the line of the ball, called the plane line. And I think that some pictures were taken of that on a golf machine canvas just a little earlier. The black line would be considered the line of flight, which is in the center of the club, and the plane line would be where the shaft intersects the ground. And we pretend as though that there is a laser coming out of the head end of the club and another laser coming out of the tail end or the grip end of the club. So on the way down, I'm going to feel as though that golf club is going to move right down through the line of that ball on the way to the finish. And it looks like this. So in order to allow that golf club to behave in its natural manner involves allowing the club to work in more of a balanced action, which has a lot to do with the shape of the angle of the shaft as it sits against the ground. That would be plane line. Now, one thing that causes plane line to work is to measure through the spine. And so the spinal measurement would give us a chance to work the spine and its pitch about like an axle in a vehicle, with shoulders and hips rotating around that axle, kind of like wheels on a bike or a motorcycle or on an automobile from that standpoint. The shoulders and the hips don't work exactly the same, but they're working around that fixed point. And that fixed point would probably be measured best from the top vertebra down to the ball. And so if I can keep that top vertebra in essentially the same place in motion, then I can allow this club to do what it's designed to do. And so I'm going to hit this with my right cheek on the way back and my left cheek at impact before I stand up off the board. And it looks kind of like this in motion. So today our discussion was concerning how the golf club behaves in motion, so that the toe of the club and the heel of the club can be squared at impact, and the shaft will behave close to the line that it began on, which is called the plane line. The line the ball is on is the target line. And to give you a little bit of better idea and understanding about how that works, it's much like a soccer style kick. And I relate more to soccer as it relates to football than I do to the game of soccer itself, but it's a rounding action, and we want the club to round much the same way. Okay, this circle that we create from the side view is just like that ping pong paddle or tennis racket going through. The palm or the face of the paddle or racket is a little open, it squares and it closes without any independent hand action. And a soccer style kick starts to the left of the ball, and left post for a right footed kicker posts up, the foot lags in and wraps around that ball, much like this particular action right here. So as I approach this like a soccer style kicker, now for that ball to go to the left of that target meant that my foot had to be a little closed when the ball left my foot. And so that's kind of how you spin a golf ball. If the foot is too open, it'll go to the right of the target. If the foot is too closed or toes in front of the heel, it'll cause it to move abruptly from right to left. So we put side spin on a golf ball in much the same fashion. So we want that foot to be open to matching up at impact, closing post impact, so that you continue on that arc, and that's how you wrap a club face around a golf ball. We'll pick right up about impact next week with our tips and talk about both views about how things match up and shape to try to help you with your golf games. In the meantime, give us a call at Bowling Green Country Club in the Pro Shop at 842-4581, and we look forward to our next visit. Thanks.